The Forbidden Vault. Jace Grumman wasn't supposed to be there. He had no permit, no partner, no backup. Just an old mining suit, a rusty scanner, and a dream of striking rich before the next sandstorm hit the abandoned outpost on planet Virex 7. Most humans avoided this world. It was dry, cracked, and cursed by a long-forgotten war. They said machines still wandered the underground ruins, looking for intruders. Jace didn't care. He needed credits. Desperately. As he climbed down into a narrow crevice between two collapsed walls, his scanner suddenly blinked. Energy signal detected. Unknown source below. Jace frowned. Energy? Out here? He dropped to one knee and wiped away the dust. Beneath the cracked floor, he found something strange, a metal hatch, unlike anything he'd seen before. No control panel, no markings, just a glowing blue circle in the center. Could be tech, he muttered. Maybe even alien. He hesitated. He knew this was the kind of thing that could either make him rich or kill him. But his fingers were already brushing the glowing circle. Suddenly, click. The hatch opened by itself. A deep stairwell led down into darkness. Jace pulled out his light. The air grew cold as he descended. His breath fogged inside the helmet. He could hear a soft hum, like something breathing deep underground. At the bottom, he entered a massive chamber. It was silent, dusty, and filled with strange glowing patterns on the walls, like old alien writing, pulsing softly in. Blue, and in the center of the room, a crystal coffin. It was floating above a platform wrapped in energy fields. Inside lay a girl, tall, elegant, otherworldly. Her skin was pale silver. Her hair floated gently, though there was no air moving. Her eyes were closed, her hands crossed. Over her chest, she didn't look dead, she looked like she was waiting. Jace whispered to himself, "What? Are you?" He stepped closer. His scanner went wild. It couldn't even identify her species. The energy readings were off the charts. Then, without warning, the coffin cracked. Jace jumped back. Blue light surged out. A loud hum filled the room. Then, her eyes opened. They were glowing gold. Jace froze. The girl sat up slowly as if waking from a long dream. Her eyes locked on his. He tried to speak, but his mouth was dry. Suddenly she blinked and spoke in a strange, echoing language. Jace didn't understand. She tilted her head, then gently placed her hand on her own temple, and then on his forehead. A pulse of energy passed between them. His brain exploded with images, flashes of stars, wars, machines, and isolation. He stumbled back. She caught his arm, and he felt it. Something warm, something pulling from inside him. Not painfully now, but draining. He gasped. His body felt weak. His fingers trembled. The girl pulled her hand away and looked confused. Then her own body glowed brighter. Her skin shimmered with health. Her breathing became steady. And Jace understood. She had just fed on him. She wasn't trying to hurt him. She needed it. Jace dropped to one knee. "What are you?" She looked at him. Her voice entered his head now, clear and calm. "I am Serenia. I was alone. For a long time." He swallowed hard. "What are you doing here?" "They locked me away. They were afraid of what I need." Jace looked up, barely able to stand. "What do you need?" She paused, then simply answered, "You." That one word shook him more than anything else. Suddenly, alarms began to blare from the walls. The ancient vault came to life. Red lights spun above. Doors hissed. Something else had awakened. Jace tried to get up, but his legs wouldn't listen. He had never felt so weak. Serenia looked around. Fear entered her face for the first time. She knelt beside him. Her fingers brushed his chest. A surge of warmth filled his body, just enough to make him move again. "We need to leave," she said. "What's happening?" He coughed. She looked at the ceiling, her voice trembling. The Guardians are coming. She needs him to live. The ceiling rumbled. Dust rained from above. Jace forced himself to stand, though his legs still trembled. Serenia wrapped her arm around his shoulders, not like a warrior, but like someone trying to keep him alive. "We must go," she whispered. From behind the chamber walls, heavy footsteps echoed. Slow, mechanical, growing louder. The Guardians she spoke of were real. Jace looked at her. "Can you fight them?" Serenia closed her eyes as if searching within, then opened them slowly. "Not yet. I'm still weak." Jace gave her a look. "You just drained half my strength and you're still weak?" "I only took enough to wake up," she said softly. "To survive, I need a deeper link." He didn't like the sound of that, but the wall behind them exploded. The Guardian arrived. It was 10 feet tall, humanoid in shape, covered in ancient armor. Glowing eyes scanned the room. Its voice boomed in the old language, but Jace understood it through Serenia's link. "Danger class entity detected. Terminate on sight." It raised its plasma cannon. Serenia didn't flinch. She stepped in front of Jace and raised her hand. A golden pulse flew from her palm, striking the Guardian. But the machine only staggered. "Not enough," she whispered. "Run," Jace offered. "Run." They escaped into the tunnel. Jace stumbled behind Serenia, who glided like she knew the place by heart. Lights flickered above as more footsteps echoed behind. She stopped at a wall covered in strange symbols. "Touch here," she said. Jace pressed his palm against a blue marking. Nothing happened. "Focus on me. Let the link guide you." Jace frowned. "What link?" But before he could argue, she took his hand and pressed it harder. Her fingers intertwined with his. Suddenly, his vision blurred. He saw her past. She had once walked these halls, not as a prisoner but as their guardian. People bowed to her, they feared her power but needed it. Then came betrayal. They sealed her away, said she was too dangerous, too powerful, too dependent on male energy. He gasped and pulled his hand back. The wall opened. A secret path. "Go!" she shouted. They ran inside as the Guardian smashed into the tunnel behind. The door sealed just in time. Inside it was quiet. A small light glowed in the ceiling. Jace dropped to the floor, exhausted. Serenia knelt beside him. "You're fading. Again." "No kidding," he groaned. "You're like a walking battery thief." She looked sad. "I do not want to hurt you. I can stop." But then she didn't finish. Jace stared at her glowing eyes. "Then you what?" "I fade." He leaned against the wall. "So you need me to survive. And I need you not to drain me dry." "Great. I can balance it," she said gently. "If you allow it." He looked at her. Something about her, her voice, her sadness, it wasn't fake. She wasn't pretending. She was just made this way. Jace sighed. "Okay. One condition." Her eyes lit up. "Anything. You keep me alive. That means no full drain, no secrets. We're partners." She nodded. "Partners." She placed her hand gently over his chest. A warm light spread through his body, not painful, not draining. It was like sharing, like warmth on a cold night. His breathing steadied. He felt stronger, not just in his muscles, but in his heart. "Whoa," he muttered. She smiled. "I took only what I needed, and gave back what I could." Hours passed. They moved deeper through the tunnels. Serenia explained more. Long ago, her kind were created to balance the energy across star systems. They fed on the strength of males, but gave back wisdom, healing, and protection. In peace, they were saviors. In war, weapons. Her own people had feared that power, so they locked her away. "Then you found me," she said softly. Jace scratched his head. "Yeah, Lucky me. But deep down, something had shifted. She wasn't just a powerful alien, she was lonely. And now, she needed him to survive. Suddenly, Serenia stopped. She touched the wall and closed her eyes. "What is it?" Jace whispered. "They're changing tactics. More guardians are coming, not machines, clones." "Clones of what?" "Of the men who betrayed me." Jace blinked. "And what do they want?" "To drag me back into the stasis chamber," she said coldly. "And kill you." He tensed, but Serenia's eyes were glowing brighter now. "I won't let them." She turned toward the dark passage ahead. "For the first time in 10,000 years, I want to live." The hunters awaken. The deeper they went, the colder it became. Serenia walked in front, her long silver hair glowing faintly in the dark tunnel. Jace followed behind, his flashlight flickering. He still felt a little weak, but better than before. Her energy transfer had helped. Still, his mind kept spinning with one thought. What did I just get myself into? An immortal alien girl who feeds on male energy, guardians trying to kill them both, and now, clones. It all felt unreal, but the hum in the wall said otherwise. Suddenly, Serenia stopped. She placed her hand on a stone pillar. "It's begun," she said. Jace tilted his head. "What?" "The hunters. I can hear them." He listened. At first there was silence, then a distant growl, not mechanical, alive. Moments later, something moved in the shadows ahead. "Get back," Serenia warned. Jace pressed himself against the tunnel wall. From the dark, 3 figures stepped forward. They looked human, but something was off. Their eyes glowed faint blue, their skin was pale, too perfect. Their faces were all the same. Clones. "They copied my own protectors," Serenia whispered. "Then reprogrammed them. Now they are puppets." Jace drew his small blaster. "Think that'll stop them?" "No." Then, one of the clones spoke. "Return to stasis, entity Serenia, or the human dies." Serenia didn't flinch. "I will not return. Then he will be terminated." Jace raised his weapon, heart pounding, but before he could shoot, the clones lunged forward. Serenia moved faster than thought. She leapt through the air, spinning in silver light. Her palms exploded with golden energy. She hit the first clone in the chest, sending it flying into the tunnel wall with a loud crash. Jace fired at the second one. Missed. The clone punched him hard, sending him to the floor. Everything blurred. Then, a hand caught him, pulling him back. Serenia. She wrapped her arms around him and let out a cry. A wave of golden energy blasted out in all directions. The tunnel shook. When the dust cleared, the clones were gone, burned into ash. Jace blinked. Still in her arms. "I thought you said you were still weak." She looked at him, breathless. "I borrowed more." He sighed. "Great. I'm your walking battery again." But Serenia looked sad. "Only because I had to. I tried to protect you." Jace nodded. "I know." They sat in silence for a moment. Then, Jace stood and brushed dust from his shirt. "We're not going to survive like this forever," he said. "We need a plan." Serenia nodded. "There's a place, far below, a core chamber. If I reach it, I can disconnect the vault from the defense system." "Meaning no more guardians?" "Exactly," he paused. "Then let's go." The next hours were quiet. Too quiet. They passed old ruins, control rooms, and glowing halls filled with alien symbols. Serenia explained bits of her history, how her creators built her kind to preserve life, not destroy it. But greed and fear had twisted everything. Jace listened closely. For the first time, he realized she wasn't just powerful. She was kind. He started to see the girl behind the glow. Not a weapon, not a monster, just someone who wanted to be free. Suddenly his scanner beeped. Movement behind us. Serenia turned. A shadow flickered across the wall. Too fast to be a clone. Something else was following. They sped up. Then a voice echoed from the tunnel. "Human, give her to us, you don't belong here." Jace froze. The voice didn't come from a clone. It was human. Serenia looked pale. "They're using old voice recordings. Psychological attacks. Well, it's working," Jace muttered. They ran again, down deeper into the darkness until they reached a large sealed door. Serenia placed her hand on the panel. The door scanned her. "Welcome back, core user Serenia." The door slid open. Inside was a massive chamber of glowing pillars spinning light and alien tech. Serenia stepped forward. "If I reach the center and link again, I can stop them all, but I'll need your help." "What do I do?" "Hold my hand." Jace looked at her. "That's it?" "Yes. But this time, the bond will go deeper." He hesitated, then nodded and took her hand. As golden light wrapped around them both, Jace felt something awaken. Not just energy, but memories, visions of Serenia's pain, her loneliness, her imprisonment, and her hope. He felt her heart, and she felt his. They were linked, truly, and the chamber responded. Pillars lit up. The vault shook. But so did the hunters outside. They were coming, faster than before. And this time, they weren't planning to capture her. They wanted to erase her forever. She was never a monster. The core chamber was alive. Light swirled like a slow-moving storm around Jace and Serenia. Her hand in his, energy flowing between them. Not just power, but memories, emotions, trust. For the first time, Jace felt everything she had gone through. And for the first time, Serenia saw his memories too. His childhood, his dreams, his quiet, loneliness, his hope for something more than just survival. Two souls, never meant to meet, now deeply connected. As the pillars around them pulsed brighter, Serenia stepped forward. "Stay close," she whispered. In the middle of the room, a glowing heart of alien machinery floated above the ground, the vault's power core. "If I take full control," she said, "I can shut down the defense system. No more guardians, no more clones." Jace frowned. "But what's the risk?" She didn't answer right away, then looked at him. "If I reconnect fully, I might lose myself." Jace froze. "What do you mean?" "This system, it was built to suppress me. If I go in too deep, it could trap me again. For another 1,000 years, or worse." She turned her face away. "I could become something else. A weapon, a monster." Jace stepped forward. "Then we'll find another way." "There is no other way. You said I'm your partner. That means we decide together." Serenia smiled sadly. "Then hold on." She reached out and touched the glowing core. The room exploded in golden light. Jace was lifted off the ground, his body floating beside hers. Visions crashed into his mind. Cities lost to war, planets begging for peace. Serenia standing alone, as entire empires fought over her power. She had once stopped a supernova, once healed a moon. And once, she was told to destroy an entire race. She refused. That's when they sealed her away. She wasn't a monster. She was mercy. Outside the chamber, they arrived. The final clones. And behind them, something worse. A tall, dark figure stepped into the corridor. Its body was made of black armor. But inside, it wasn't machine. It was organic. Alive. Built from Serenia's stolen DNA. "Primary. Entity located," it said in a deep voice. "Engaging termination protocol." It raised its hand, and the hallway shattered as it marched toward the chamber. Inside, Jace and Serenia were still locked in the link. She could feel the intruder coming. "It's him," she said, voice trembling. "They built him to kill me. You can stop him. Only if I finish the bond." Jace looked into her glowing eyes. What happens if we finish it? I won't be Serenia anymore, she said. You'll become something else? She nodded. Jace took a breath. Then don't finish it. What? You're more than power, he said. More than energy. You're a person, a friend, someone who saved me. Serenia stared at him. No one's ever said that to me. Well, I mean it. He took her hand again. Let's fight together. Not as a weapon. Not as a goddess. Just you and me. The door burst open. The clone commander stepped in, its body humming with stolen energy. You cannot stop me. I am her better. Serenia stepped forward. No, you're their mistake. She raised her hand, but instead of blasting him, she shared her energy with Jace. A golden light wrapped around him. Use it, she said. You know my heart now. Fight with it. Jace nodded. He raised his hand, and for the first time Serenia's power flowed through him. The clone charged. They clashed in a flash of gold and black. It was chaos. Sparks flew. Stone cracked. Jace dodged and struck, his body glowing with the bond's energy. The clone was strong but hollow. Jace was smaller, but full of purpose. In one last surge, Jace let the energy go, not to kill, but to break the connection that powered the clone. With a roar, he slammed his hand into the clone's chest and shattered the core inside it. The figure fell. Silent. Still. Jace collapsed to one knee. Serenia ran to him. You did it. No, he said. We did. She smiled, but her smile began to fade. The core chamber was still glowing too brightly. You're not stable, he said. I stayed in the link too long. Can you break it? She shook her head. Only if you pull away. Jace hesitated. I don't want to lose you. You won't, she whispered. You gave me something I never had. He touched her hand. Family. She nodded, and slowly, he let go. The light faded. The bond dimmed. Serenia dropped to her knees, her power stabilizing, her form becoming calm again. Jace rushed to catch her. She looked up at him, tired, but smiling. You saved me from being what they made me. He helped her up. No, I just reminded you who you already were. A promise in the dark. The vault was silent now. No more alarms. No more clone guardians. The cold hum of ancient machinery had dimmed. Only the soft sound of their footsteps echoed through the chamber. Jace walked beside Serenia, keeping close. She moved slowly, still weak after breaking the bond and releasing so much of her power. Her glow was softer now, calmer, but something had changed between them. Not just the energy they once shared, something deeper, a bond of trust, of care, and, maybe, something close to love. As they stepped into a side chamber, filled with ancient scrolls and data crystals, Jace sat down on a slab of stone. Serenia sat beside him, folding her arms gently. They didn't speak for a long time. Finally, she looked at him. I was alone in here for hundreds of years, she whispered. I know. But the worst part wasn't the silence. It was the fear that I would wake up and still be alone. Jace nodded. You're not alone anymore. She turned to face him, her glowing eyes dim but warm. I want to see the stars again, she said. Not from inside a prison, but from outside. Free. You will. She smiled. Promise? Jace extended his pinky finger. It was a human thing. She looked at it with confusion. It's called a pinky promise, he said, grinning. You link fingers. It means you really mean it. Serenia slowly lifted her hand. Her finger touched his, and something tiny but powerful passed between them, a promise. Suddenly, a loud boom echoed through the walls. Jace stood up fast. That didn't sound good. Serenia's face turned serious. That wasn't from inside. That came from above. Another boom. Dust fell from the ceiling. The old vault shook slightly. Jace tapped his scanner. Something was coming. Not clones. Not defense tech. Real soldiers. Human EarthGov, and they were armed. Looks like my old bosses found out I went off course, Jace muttered. Serenia frowned. You think they know about me? They will soon. They rushed through the halls, heading back toward the vault entrance. Lights flickered as the system restarted in safety mode. When they reached the outer chamber, a loud crack tore through the air as a large steel drilling pod smashed through the upper rock and opened like a steel flower. Jace aimed his blaster. 5 armored humans jumped down. He recognized the armor. Ghost. Division. Elite Black Ops. They didn't ask questions, they just took or killed. Hands up, barked the lead soldier, his weapon aimed at Serenia. Jace stepped in front of her. Stand down, he shouted. She's not hostile. The soldier's helmet visor flashed red. Unauthorized lifeform detected. Neutralize. No, Jace yelled, but they opened fire. In a blur, Serenia moved. She spun her arms in a circle, forming a shield of golden energy that blocked the incoming shots. Jace ducked as light and sound exploded around them. Then Serenia dropped the shield and sent a small wave of energy outward. Not enough to hurt, just enough to push. The soldiers flew backward, knocked off their feet. But more were coming. Jace grabbed Serenia's hand. We have to go. Now. She nodded. They sprinted through old escape tunnels. Behind them, boots thundered. But Serenia knew the way. This way, she said. Old maintenance shaft leads to the surface. They slid down a broken lift cable and landed in a chamber filled with vines and glowing moss. Up ahead, moonlight, real sky, freedom. But just as they reached the exit, one of the ghost soldiers fired a grappling tether. It wrapped around Jace's leg and yanked him backward. He slammed into the wall, dazed. Serenia turned, eyes glowing. No, she whispered. She stepped toward the soldier and raised her hand. The golden light in her palm pulsed. Don't hurt him, she said. Take me. Let him go. The soldier hesitated. Serenia dropped her glow and raised her arms in surrender. Jace groaned. No, don't. But she only looked back at him once. Remember your promise. Then, she walked forward and let herself be captured. The ghost shoved her into a force cage. Jace screamed. Let her go. She's not a threat. One soldier turned to him. She's property of the old empire. She's not even alive by our standards. She's more human than any of you, Jace shouted. But it was too late. The ship began to lift. Jace fell to his knees as the vault's entrance sealed again. Gone. She was gone. But even as the night fell silent, Jace pulled out a small, glowing crystal she had given him before they escaped. It pulsed softly, a signal, a message, and inside it, her voice. Don't break the promise. Find me again. I'll be waiting. Jace clenched it in his fist. His eyes burned. He stood up and whispered to the stars, I'm coming back for you. Escape Plan Alpha. The sky over Gorvith 6 was dark. Jace stood alone on a rocky cliff where the vault once glowed. His clothes were torn. His body still ached from the fight. But his heart hurt most. They had taken her. Serenia, the immortal alien girl, was now in the hands of Ghost Division. Locked, caged, treated like a thing, like a weapon. But Jace hadn't forgotten her words. Don't break the promise, find me again. He wouldn't let her down. Inside his ship, Jace reviewed the data. The crystal Serenia had given him before she surrendered was more than a message. It had a tracker buried inside, a faint signature coded in a frequency only she could emit. He stared at the star map. The signal was weak, but it was moving. Fast. Not a prison, Jace muttered. A transport. He zoomed in. The ship was heading toward a restricted moon near the edge of the Veltrax sector, a place known only by code D9 Black Site. Jace frowned. That's where they send things they don't want found. It was time to break the rules. Jace tapped a hidden console and entered his old codes, back when he was part of EarthGov's rogue engineering team. The ship's screen lit up. Activating Escape Plan Alpha, it was more than a plan. It was a revenge protocol for when EarthGov betrayed its own. It gave him control over something he swore he'd never use. A hidden ship. A prototype. Fast, silent, cloaked. Built for one purpose. To rescue or destroy. Within hours, Jace left Gorveth 6. The stars flew by. He sat in the cockpit, staring at the crystal as it blinked softly in his palm. Images of Serenia filled his mind, her glowing eyes, her gentle smile, the way she had shielded him without thinking twice. She had been locked in that vault for centuries. Now he had to break into another cage to free her again. Only this time the cage had guns, satellites, AI drones, and orders to kill. Back on D9 Black Site, Serenia sat in a glowing stasis pod. Her arms were locked in golden restraints that drained her energy slowly. Around her, scientists studied her like an experiment. "She's older than we thought," one whispered. "Is she aware?" "Not fully, but she hears us. I can feel it." Serenia didn't move, didn't speak, but her mind wasn't asleep. Inside, she was waiting. For Jace. For his promise. Hours passed, then alarms started to ring. The control room filled with red lights. Perimeter. Breach. Unidentified stealth ship breaking through defenses. It's targeting the inner cell block. Jace's ship crashed through the outer wall of D9 like a silent spear of shadow. He jumped out wearing upgraded armor, his helmet glowing blue, his suit fitted with pulse disruptors and energy dampeners. The guards weren't ready. He took them, down one by one. Silent, fast, focused. Not to kill, just to reach her. Serenia's cell lit up. Doors hissed. Jace stepped inside, chest heaving, her eyes opened. He smiled. "Told you I'd come," she whispered. "You came through." He ran to her, slicing the golden cuffs with his disruptor blade. She fell forward, weak. He caught her. "Can you walk?" "Only with you," she whispered. He lifted her gently. Together they ran. Outside, the station began to fall apart. Jace had planted mini EMP bombs all over the base. Drones crashed, lights flickered, chaos spread. They reached the hangar, but a final Guardian drone blocked the path. It was massive, twice the size of a tank, too strong, too fast. Serenia raised her hand, but her energy was too low. Jace stood in front of her. "I'll hold it off." But before he could act, Serenia touched his back and transferred a spark of her energy. Not much, but just enough. Jace's hand glowed. He jumped, rolled, and sliced straight through the drone's chest in one precise hit. It exploded in sparks. They didn't wait. Back on the ship, Serenia collapsed into the co-pilot seat. Jace launched into space. The black site exploded behind them, vanishing in a fireball of blue light. They didn't look back, just forward, toward the stars. Hours later, in deep space, Serenia woke up. Jace handed her a cup of hot liquid. "It's not fancy," he said, "but it's warm." She sipped it slowly. "Where are we going?" "Anywhere you want." She smiled. "Then somewhere quiet, somewhere with stars." Jace nodded. "That I can do." She looked at him. "I heard you in the vault when you said you wouldn't let me go. I meant it. Do you still?" He took her hand again. Always. Her glow in the starlight. The stars were calm. For the first time in years, Jace didn't hear alarms, didn't feel the stress of war. No one was chasing them. No orders. No missions. Just silence. And Serenia beside him. She sat in the co-pilot, seat wrapped in a soft blanket he'd found in the supply unit. Her glow had returned, soft golden light pulsing gently from her skin. Not dangerous anymore. Not hungry. Just warm. Alive. At peace. Jace tapped the nav screen. "We're close. I found an old unlisted moon. No records, no satellites, no humans, just nature." Serenia turned her head slightly. And stars? He smiled. Plenty. The ship glided smoothly into orbit around the moon. It had waterfalls, purple forests and blue skies. A perfect place to hide, to heal, to begin again. They landed near a lake. Trees swayed in the cool wind. The water was crystal clear. Jay stepped out first and looked around. No threats. No drones. Just peace. He turned back to help Serenia. She walked slowly, bare feet touching grass for the first time in centuries. Her eyes widened. I forgot how real the world feels, she whispered. I thought it would be too much after the vault, but it's perfect. He offered his arm. She took it. They walked together to the lake's edge. Night came quickly on the little moon. Jace built a fire with supplies. Serenia sat close to the warmth. They didn't speak much. Words weren't needed anymore. The fire crackled softly. Above them, stars filled the sky, thousands of bright dots stretching forever. Serenia leaned her head on Jace's shoulder. Doe. You know what I feared the most in that vault? She asked. He looked at her. That no one would ever touch me again. Not with kindness. Not with care. Only to use me. To drain me. Or to fear me. Jace stayed silent. But you didn't fear me, she said. No, he said. I saw you. Really saw you. She smiled. And I saw you. Even when I was afraid to. They lay back on the grass side by side. Serenia looked up at the stars. My people used to believe that starlight could heal, that it remembered, that it carried old memories across time. Jace nodded. Sounds beautiful. It is. And, I think, tonight the stars remember me. He turned to her. They'll never forget you. She looked at him, her golden eyes glowing softly. Neither will you. Never. There was no kiss. No dramatic moment. Just fingers touching fingers softly. A new bond. Not made through energy, or hunger, or fear, but through choice, through time, through kindness. Serenia closed her eyes and whispered, You were the first human to show me what love can feel like. Not the energy kind, the quiet kind. Jace whispered back. And you were the first alien who made me feel human again. The fire burned low. Their hands stayed together. And as the night deepened, her glow danced gently across the grass, not as a weapon, but as a light, a promise in the starlight.